Mississippi Outdoors Radio on the JT Show is presented by the Foundation for Mississippi Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. The Foundation supports projects associated with the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks to protect and preserve Mississippi's wonderful wildlife heritage for generations to come.
Riding through the bayou, headed for the sky blue, back out on the trail again and again. Hiking and hunting and fishing the land, time is time well spent. We'll take it to the delta, to the great white shore. There's so much to see and do.
Mississippi Outdoors Radio, live in studio here on the JT Show, Super Talk Mississippi. Yeah, I emphasize that really strongly, Larry, because I haven't seen you guys since, what, Christmas? It's been a minute, I think.
I don't know, Dave. It's been a while. I was glad to get back in the studio.
I'll tell you when it was. It was turkey season.
Well, I wouldn't doubt that.
Adam would remember that. Adam judges everything in his life.
Crappie season.
Yeah, it's white perch season.
I think it was I can't remember if we did. I think we did do a live show here the Monday after turkey season opened. I think that was the last one.
Yeah, I think so. I do remember the last show or the next to last show we did. Larry was here and he was talking and he explained to everybody just how busy the reservoir was. Ross Barnett and the white perch were just hitting like crazy, and then they closed it.
Yeah.
So you were like the biggest tease in the state when you did that.
It's all about social distancing.
Nobody caught nothing from a fish. In studio with us, we got Adam Butler, wildlife biologist, Larry Pugh with the Fisheries Bureau, and of course, Ricky Flint, because somebody somewhere going to have to just shoot him at some point, right? Now, I just wanted to get that look on your face. Is that even still a thing? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't watch it, and I couldn't advise.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Fair enough. Now, I do have one big question, and this is worrying to me. Mm-hmm. I notice that, I'm loving it that we got Ricky here, we got Larry here, we got you here, but there's somebody missing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where is Major Chris Reed, and more specifically, has his quarantine stash gotten so big he just couldn't fit through the door? What happened?
It's possible. I don't know. I hope he's out there listening.
He's protecting and conserving the natural resources of the state of Mississippi.
Maybe. Well, I know.
How much did he pay you to say that?
Look,
he slipped you a 20, didn't he, Larry?
I noticed that in this coronavirus time, Rhino has let a little facial hair grow a little bit. He's always had some there, but it's more than what it was before. So we need to get him and Major Reed side by side to sort of show off what they've been doing the last 2 months, growing that stuff out.
I think that's fair. Now you said last time I talked to you that you had seen it. Is it coming in nicely? Is it patchy? Is it nice and full?
It's something to see.
It's hard to take the man serious.
That was Adam Butler that said that.
Larry's still earning that $20 that
he's not here to defend himself.
that Reed slipped him. So well, he should have showed up.
Yeah,
he didn't want to be on camera with the stash, obviously.
But as they always say, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Bless his heart.
Bless his heart. That's the one we go with. This is Mississippi, kids. Bless his little heart and his enormous mustache. Now, despite the fact that he's out there doing whatever it was he paid Larry to say on his behalf, I'm not dropping that, by the way. I know he slipped him a 20. He had to have. June is like a great time for things to reopen.
Yeah, it is. And we've been really lucky. This has been probably the best May weather I can remember. Summer has decided to give us a little bit of a break, and even yesterday and today has been really nice. Here we are, June. Normally it's hot and muggy, but we've had a pretty nice, pleasant,
very low humidity
spring.
Yeah,
for the most part.
It's been almost cool at times.
It really has.
And that's not normal.
Cooler nights and. Well, I don't know that we've bumped over 90 degrees yet.
No, we had a couple of days here a week or two ago where it got real muggy and humid and felt like Mississippi in the summertime, but for the most part, it's been really nice. But yeah, so June is also Great Outdoors Month nationally. So that's the thing the U.S. Congress passed, making June Great Outdoors Month. So everybody's encouraged to get outside and go and do and enjoy that, which I know, if you've been cooped up or been stuck in a irregular pattern, whatever that might be, probably a good time to get out and go do some stuff. So within that, next week is actually National Fishing and Birding Week, and I know Larry's probably going to talk a little bit about that when we get to his segment. And then the agency is running a parks promo for RV camping, where if you reserve an RV using the promo code Summer 2020 this week from June 1st to the 7th, you will enjoy one free night if you pay for 3. So we're trying to get more people out and enjoying parks and that kind of thing.
Free is a great way to get people involved.
Always is, yeah.
That word catches your attention like no other. Now, of course, June 1st, it's also the opening for something that Ricky's going to be talking
Big
about.
day for Ricky. I'm sure we'll get to him in a minute. But
he's over there on his phone
day,
right
yeah,
now.
his
checking
day,
stuff.
I'm just helping my people right now.
the alligator permits have gone on sale.
It's time.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to buy.
Well,
this
and he's
permit.
done such a good job of it. The process is pretty painless now. It used to be a little bit more of a hurdle today, but it's
The systems would
Yes.
shut down.
We've got scars.
Satellites would be clicking
We've got
off in
scars.
space. It was just.
I was just waiting for Larry to say tater salad.
I guess he can address that here in a little bit. But I don't know. My perspective, looking at it from afar, is that it's going pretty.
Did you want to talk about it now?
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get a whole segment.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were segueing or what.
We'll get to you there.
No, we were just giving you a name mention.
Yeah.
We got to keep you out in front of your adoring public.
Yeah, more coming later.
Yeah, there we go. Stay tuned.
That's
for
see,
further
that's
details.
you folks in the media business. That's what you do, right? You
Film at
keep
11.
people hanging on.
Give them little tidbits, make them get interested and want to stay on longer.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
So
got to learn from Larry with the whole thing about the Ross Barnett right before they closed it. You got to be a tease a little bit.
Let it go, Dave. Let it
I'm
go.
never going to let that go. I'm never going to let it go.
Some things are out of our control.
So I did want to take this opportunity, though, to kind of run through some of the stuff with the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries that's opening or reopening, because we got some stuff opening, we got some stuff in different stages of opening. The three of us just actually came from our office, which is we're slowly getting that all back open. This week we'll have shooting ranges. All our 3 statewide shooting ranges should open back up on the 4th. So that another opportunity for folks to get out and go do stuff outdoors. Larry, pretty much everything with state lakes are now wide open, correct?
Yes,
so that's
and
have been for a while. With our parks, cabins and cottage rentals are back online, back open. They're only
Starting Thursday.
starting Thursday the 4th.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's right. They're only renting those for Thursdays through Sundays to begin with. And then tent camping and stuff like that is still going to be in the future sometime. Those conversations are still being had. Issues, keeping the bathhouses COVID-free and all that kind of stuff is still being talked about. So that's one thing. Parks are back open to gatherings of up to 100 people. So, a lot of folks use our parks for family reunions and weddings and that kind of thing. So as long as you stay within the CDC guidelines and 100 people or less, those sorts of events can go on again. So, and like I said, our offices are sort of
We're now open.
we're open.
Yeah.
Not open to the public. Things like license bureau and stuff like that, you can call in, but all of that should happen here pretty quickly. But staff is coming back in, and it's kind of opening in stages and all that.
Well, I think it would be a fair statement, and correct me if I'm wrong here, that sometime in the next week to 2 weeks, we should be as close to business as usual as we have been for a long, long time.
And talking with everybody there at our office, that seems to be the consensus that here, it's things are opening in stages, but within about the next 2 weeks, we should be pretty close to 100%, I think.
See, I love when we get to answer a question from the C Spire text line before you even know it's been asked. John in Ridgeland had asked, when will Turcotte shooting ranges reopen? The 4th.
That will be this Thursday, yeah.
This Thursday they will reopen. So, and that's for all of them, right?
The museum is currently not open. And I think that's one of those that's still being talked about, how to handle that, because, the museum gets a lot of traffic and a lot of people come there. I do know they're doing a lot of virtual stuff. They've been posting a lot of social media stuff, little tidbits and interesting facts about different animals and stuff like that. And I think, this time of the year, the museum staff is usually really busy with summer camps and all of that. I think they're in the process of planning to be able to do all of that virtually. I haven't been involved with those conversations, but I know that's something they're talking about. So hopefully, the kids that were looking forward to that are still going to get something, maybe a little different, but they're going to get something. Clark Creek Natural Area is one we've actually gotten a lot of questions about. It's currently still closed, but again, hopefully plans get all of that back going pretty soon.
And that's not really from the pandemic shutdown, is it, at Clark Creek? Or is it?
It is. It
Okay.
is because of the sheer number of people that would be there at that area.
Okay, that makes sense.
Same thing with the museum. Just the sheer number of people. I know that there's plans in place to get the museum open sometime this month, probably the latter part of this month. So I would expect to hopefully see that in the very near future.
If we could, let's get Makeup into the studio. Ricky Flint takes center stage here in just a moment because we're going to talk alligators. How about that?
Okay.
We'll do that when we return here on Mississippi Outdoors Radio on Super Talk Mississippi. Mississippi Outdoors Radio here on Super Talk Mississippi in studio. The whole crew is here. Ricky, I'm going to lead into this with a text from the C Spire text line from the 662. Glad y'all got the game and fish guys there. I totally forgot about buying my Alligator application. It's bought now.
Good deal.
So,
see there?
Doing the work right here already.
Right.
It is the official start of the period where you can buy your permit to go alligator hunting.
Buy your application.
Your application for your permit. Explain how this process works.
All right. So this will be the third year now that we have gone to strictly online applications for alligator hunting permits on public waterways. And we have extended the application process to make it longer, learning from problems we've had in the past. It is a week long. You get 7 days, and that process started this morning at 10 a.m. You can go online to our website. It will provide you all the instructions and information and things that you need to know, and if you'll read all of that, you should be educated enough to know what all is going to be entailed and how the whole process works. But in a nutshell, you can go on if you're 16 years of age or older and you are a resident, or if you are a non-resident with a Mississippi lifetime hunting license, then you're eligible to apply for one of these permits. You'll go online, you'll enter your customer ID number, which is on your hunting license, your date of birth, and it will pull up your customer profile. All your information will be on there. You'll be able to look at it. If there's anything that needs to be updated, you can update that information while you're there, and then it'll take you on into the process of selecting which zone of the 7 alligator hunting zones that you'd like to go and hunt in. You can only apply in one zone, and you select that. Then it's going to send you to the process of submitting your credit card information, and it'll cost you $2.34, which is nothing more than a electronic processing fee, which is normal with credit card applications online. And then your information will be stored, and we will do a drawing on June 15th of all 7 zones. So there's essentially 7 drawings, one for each of those zones. And if you are drawn, you will get an email notification on June 15th at 12 noon. And in that email notification, there'll be a link where you can click on it. It'll be secure. It'll take you to the permit application process and you'll have 2 days to do so. You'll have until 12 noon, June 17th, to buy your permit. At 12 noon, June 17th, any of those permits that have not been purchased will be put back into a drawing that will occur again on June 23rd. And we'll repeat that process, send email notifications to those winners. They'll go through the same process. This has worked very well in the last 3 years, selling 99 point some odd % of all of those permits available. So it's been very effective in that. And then it also helps these people in being able to, here it is mid-June, and they already know that they've got their permit, it's been secured. Then we go through the process on our end of putting an information packet together. We'll mail you all the information you need to know. It'll have your permit, your license, your temporary possession tags. Everything will be in there and comes to you in the mail. And then all you got to do is wait for alligator season to open and go. And so the process has worked great. There are some prerequisites. Like I said, you got to be at least 16 years of age at the time of the application. You must have a prerequisite license on file, like a Mississippi Sportsman's license or a small game hunting license. All these things, all that is listed in the information before you get started. And then, forgot where I was going from there. But
well, let me ask you this. You apply for a permit in any one of the 7 zones. It doesn't have to be the zone you live in, right?
No, absolutely not. So a person who lives in Corinth and wants to hunt on the Pascagoula River down in Jackson County, they would apply for the southeast zone, and they can get a permit and travel to those parts. In fact, we see that about 50% of the time, people are hunting in zones that they're not a resident of, and it works great. We do see some zones get more interest than others. There are 960 permits total. The highest number of permits are available in two zones, the West Central Zone and the Southwest. We offer 190 permits each in those. And and the Northwest Zone only has 40 permits. A lot of that has to do with the amount of available public water in the zone, and it has something to do with the alligator population as well in that zone. And so what I recommend to people is apply for the area that you have the most knowledge about, that you know where and how to navigate in those public waterways and go out there and find an alligator. And the one thing we're very proud of is that alligator hunting season is recruiting new hunters. We're seeing about 5, 6, and as high as 7% of the 1,000 or 3,000 or so people who are participating in the alligator hunt every year are first-time license buyers. This is the very first time they've ever bought a hunting or fishing license. And that's very important to this agency that lives and breathes by the number of people who are buying hunting and fishing license.
Now, let me ask you, when you get your permit and you've got your possession tag, how many possession tags come with a permit?
You'll be allowed to harvest 2 alligators. They must be a minimum of 4 feet long. Only one of those 2 alligators can exceed 7 feet. Yeah.
Now, when you have that permit, can somebody ride along with you when you go, or do you have to only band together with other people that got a permit in the drawing as well?
So there's no limit actually to the hunting party. Anybody who wants to go with that permit holder, as long as they go and buy a hunting and fishing license as well as a $25 alligator hunting license, they can go with that permit holder and participate in any part of the hunt. In fact, the permit holder can sit in the seat of the boat and do nothing. They do have to be present in the hunting party for them to go. And then everybody else can be a part of the hunt, whether it's casting at an alligator, shooting bow fishing equipment at an alligator, putting the snare on the alligator, whatever, holding lights and things like that. And there is an allowance that, if you want to use multiple boats, multiple vessels, that you can have multiple vessels involved. So, as long as they stay in the immediate vicinity of the permit holder, then they're legal to go out and hunt.
So you can't have the permit holder on one boat sitting here at the dock and somebody else all the way down the river and doing their job and say, oh, no, he's with me. No.
Right.
You can't see him. He's not with you.
The hunting party has to stay in the immediate vicinity. We call it rock throwing distance of the permit holder.
I like that. Is that how you test it?
Kind of.
It should be.
Yeah, it depends on who can throw the rock the furthest, I guess.
Yeah, you do.
It's all relative.
Yeah, you have to do those tests sometimes. You were talking about the drawing, and if somebody doesn't check their email and get the link, and that happens every time we do this, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah, and, that's one thing that I would encourage anybody who's interested in doing this. Pay attention. Remember which email address you use, because people get involved, and sometimes they don't have an email address, and I might apply and I'll use Adam's email address. Well, you better remember that come June 15th and make sure that you go and check that email address for your notification. We do have one other option for you. If you forget, you can actually go online, go to our website, and go to the drawing information page and check to see if you've been drawn. So even without your email working, you can go in there and enter your customer ID information, your date of birth. It'll pull your information up. It'll let you know. It'll notify you. You have been drawn. You have not been drawn. It'll let you know for every hunt that you've applied. So don't panic. If you can't find your email, you don't remember which email address, just go to our website and check the status on the drawings page.
Now, you said that if by noon on the 17th they haven't clicked that link and bought their permit, it goes back into a drawing.
Right.
Just very quickly here, if that happens to them, are they still eligible in the makeup drawing, or do you just pull their name out?
If you've been drawn in the first drawing, you will not be eligible for the second drawing.
Whether you purchase it or not.
Whether you purchase it or not, yeah.
So in other words, that's your shot. Check your email.
That's your shot. And be sure, check that email. It'll be very simple. Always check to make sure that your driver's license is valid make sure that your hunting license is valid. If either of those have expired at any time during this process, you're not going to be able to go through with the purchase process. Something we saw this morning, we did have a few problems this morning early on. Most of those we were able to determine it was people who had let their driver's license expire. Some of that is related to the COVID-19 situation where the driver's license.
We're up against a break.
Yeah.
We got to stop. That's good. We'll catch that towards the end. Up next, though, Larry and fishing. Mississippi Outdoors Radio, and today's Gateway Getaway, Hugh White State Park. Located on scenic Grenada Lake, Hugh White State Park offers the finest outdoor recreation amenities available, all nestled in a setting unmatched in natural beauty. Hugh White, centrally located between Memphis and Jackson, so right there. Park offers fishing, golf, picnicking, a meeting room, hiking, a playground, water skiing, and camping in one of their 12 cabins and 163 RV campsites. And in those campsites, we have that promotion going on right now. Adam, what is it? Summer 2020, I think it's
Summer 2020, I think is the code.
You use that code. If you book 3 nights, you get another one for free at one of those 163 spots for RV camping at Hugh White State Park. It's one of several parks participating in that. If you'd like to see which parks are participating, you go to the website. You can find out that information, mdwfp.com. You can make a reservation at that same website or call 1-800-467-2757, or you can call the park itself at 662-226-4934. And don't forget, you can buy an annual park permit for $50 that gives you access to all the state parks for a year. Today's Gateway Getaway, Hugh White State Park. And now we've got Larry, who's taking center stage over here. Despite the fact that we got a text on the C Spire text line, Jay from the Res said, ask Ricky about his recent successful bow fishing trip. Yeah.
Just go to Facebook. It's all over social media. Okay? Don't take up my time to talk about bow fishing with Ricky in the Delta.
Who asked that?
Jay from the Res.
Jay from the Res, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's watching
I got to go out with some friends and went bow fishing, and it was an
so
excellent
you are
time.
going to do this.
The customer asked a question, and the guy driving the ship brought it up.
Okay.
I'm obligated
Please
to answer
update us
the
on
guy.
your bow fishing adventure.
It's great.
You went during the day?
Went during the
which
day.
I did find that interesting that you had a successful trip during the day.
We went during the daytime and went during the night. I actually spent 12 hours on the water. That day.
Sunscreen?
No.
Ooh.
I had the Doodolly hat on.
Did you bring the special
Long
peanuts?
sleeves.
The special peanuts?
I had peanuts, 2 different varieties.
Boiled? That's what Dave, have you had his boiled peanuts?
I have not had his boiled peanuts.
Highly
Gator
recommended.
goobers.
Highly recommended.
Yeah, that's the perfect
They're pretty
segue.
Aren't you glad we're back?
They're pretty famous.
I'm regretting reading the text line now, Larry, is the problem, because we're talking about Ricky's goobers.
Well, it is
Larry,
fishing, in a roundabout way.
well, sort of, yeah, with a bow.
Yes.
Yeah,
bow
Back
fishing.
to bow fishing.
Bow fishing, yes.
Most of the time, Dave, you bow fish at night. And what caught my eye was Ricky's reports from having much luck during the day bow fishing. And we probably ought to touch base on that, just a segment on bow fishing one Monday. We'll come back and do that. But not today.
If you get the conditions, if you get the conditions right, a bright sunshiny day with little to no wind, and get sun directly overhead or at your back, it's surprising how far you can see. I made some pretty amazing shots, if I say so myself.
We're all glad to know that.
We'll return to bow fishing with Ricky Flint in just a moment. Yeah, thanks for coming in, Larry. We appreciate having you here today. Larry, of course, big weekend coming up this weekend is free fishing.
Certainly, Dave, June 6th and 7th, free fishing weekend. No license is required for Mississippi residents. Let me repeat that. Mississippi residents do not have to have a fishing license to fish Saturday and Sunday. Non-residents still do. We would love for you to make that, $10 purchase for your fishing license, but you don't have to have one this weekend. And fishing permits at state lakes and state parks are free.
Very nice.
It doesn't get any cheaper than that.
It costs you $0 to go fishing.
All you need to do is, if you want to bank fish, you don't have to have anything. If you want to boat fish, just put some gas in your boat and show up at a state lake or state park. And you don't have to have a permit, nor do you have to have a license.
Now, I think the big question is the free fishing weekend. Does that include bow fishing?
I would defer to Ricky, but yes, it does include that.
I would think that since you're allowed to use a hunting license or a combination fishing license to bow fish, you would therefore be exempt from the fishing license requirement on the free fishing days. That's just from my perspective.
I would go. Yes, you can bow fish for free this weekend.
So fishing records.
Fishing records. While we were down doing some social distancing and everything, we did have a couple of potential. They haven't been certified officially. State records come into the office, and it's always good to talk about state records. A lot of confusion out there in some instances, and we basically decided several years ago to have 3 categories for state fishing records that are on our website. We have your traditional rod and reel. We have a fly fishing list now of fish caught with on a fly rod, and then what we have called is trophies. We also have a trophy list, and that would fall under the category of bow fishing, if you were to bow fish or trot line. But since the theme for this segment is bow fishing,
yes, that's what we're here to talk about.
If you shot a potential state record silver carp, common carp with a bow, that would fall under that category. Exactly. And another thing, when we talk about state records, we have records. The records that we mentioned a minute ago, but we also have state fishing lake records. And this is where a lot of the confusion comes in. Several years ago, we decided to start keeping up with individual lake records at the 20 state fishing lakes. All right. And that's what our staff does. They exist at every lake. We encourage people to pay attention to, if you want to get your name, get a certificate, get your name up on the board, the Wall of Fame, catch a lake record. But other agencies, the Forest Service, the Corps of Engineers, we get those questions a lot. Hey, what's the lake record on Bay Springs Lake for bass? Well, they don't keep up with it. Or what's the lake record at Lake Okissa? Well, they don't keep up with it. The other agencies don't keep up with individual lake records. So you've got the categories I talked about, rod and reel, fly, and trophy, and then we have individual lake records at each of the state lakes. So there.
Now,
does that clear it up any for you, Dave?
That does clear it up, but now the process of getting qualified as having a state record, I think number one, you have to be aware of about where the state record is to know if you're even in the ballpark, I would think. And something tells me there are some records that just go by the wayside because nobody realizes it.
Well, that and other things,
or might go in the frying pan.
That's true.
Or they think they have a state record and they didn't check the website, and it's the blue cat's 95 pounds is the current state record. And it might be a 70-pound blue, and they think, oh, this is a big fish. 70-pound blue is a giant blue cat. They didn't check the list. So if you think you've caught a potential state record, hey, look at that list, see what the current record is. Because, for example, the current world record, 5-pound, 3-ounce white crappie. That is a big
good grief
crappie. That's our current state record and world record. A 3-pound crappie is a big crappie.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. I caught one about 2.5 pounds once, and I just bragged about it for a month.
So if you catch a big fish and you weigh it, we prefer you weigh it on certified scales, but because we will have to do that eventually to certify it, then check the list. And hey, if it's in fact close, and you want us to come take a look at it, we'll be glad to. You can obviously contact us during normal business hours at NBWFP headquarters. If it's after hours or on the weekends, if you call that 1-800-BE-SMART, BESMART, somebody in our radio room will contact one of my staff, if not me, about a pending lake record. And you got me tickled, Ricky.
That tells me Larry may not answer his phone.
No, Larry always answers his phone when it's available, and
it tells me his phone rings a lot.
Yeah. That's what that.
Now, I got a question.
If it's not at the bottom of the lake,
do you think that 5-pound crappie went on the wall or in the grease? I'm betting the grease.
Back when it was caught, I would bet it went in the grease. We've got a replica up at the North Mississippi Fish Hatchery. It's a big one. It's a big one. But
I'm having trouble imagining a 5-pound white perch.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks like a 7-pound bass.
So even the black crappie's 4+ pounds. So make sure and reach out to us and take some good pictures. Again, call us at the office during normal business hours. If you can't, get us on that 1-800-5-BE-SMART.
Those pictures can be key because they may misidentify exactly what species it is. And in that process of our staff getting back in touch with them, can say, all right, can you send us a picture? We'll look at it. Yes, that is exactly what you said it was, and go on and start the process.
We just went through that process with a shadow bass. So, yeah, that helps.
Did that one make a record?
Pending, yes, pending.
And again, probably the biggest tip, don't fillet it before one of Larry's guys gets there.
If you want to be recognized as a state record holder.
Depends on how hungry you are, Larry. I'm going to be honest.
If not, fillet it.
We continue on Mississippi Outdoors Radio next. final segments of Mississippi Outdoors Radio. Adam, before we get to you here in just a second, we'll ask Ricky what happened, but some of Larry's time got taken up, and I've got something on the C Spire text line, so I'm stealing from you to give to him now.
It's all Ricky's fault. It's ultimately all Ricky's fault.
Usually, yeah, that's kind of the way it works. See, you're sitting in Chris's seat, and normally everything's his fault, so it's just bad seat placement for you.
All right.
But Larry, hand grabbing season's going on, right?
Sure. It's going on right now, Dave. It'll actually go through July 15th. And, surprisingly, the water temps, speaking of nicer weather, the water temps hadn't warmed up that much. So we were looking at probably mid to high 70s surface. So I expect hand grabbing season to just be in full swing over the next probably 3 to 4 weeks. Typically, that's the peak time. I like to see water temps hitting 80 when I start seeing catfish really get in those cavities. So the best is yet to come. If you like to hand grab, stay with it.
Well, we had a text on the C Spire text line said, whoever started catfish grabbing with girls in bikinis, Banks should close on his birthday.
I would let Ricky comment on that. I'm not familiar with the hand grabbing in a bikini group.
I've only participated one time, so I can't provide any comment.
What color was your bikini is the question then?
I don't remember. I know it was very muddy looking when I got through.
Oh, okay. That's all we needed to know.
I'm really nervous.
Yeah, well,
we're really anxious.
We're treading over deep water here, Adam, is the problem.
It was a one piece.
Yeah. We may get the hook after this episode. We get one episode back, and we're just going to all be
it's over. Yeah. Well, this is what happens when we shut the whole thing down for 2 months.
We've been gone too long.
Yeah, the wheels come right off the bus as soon as you crank it. Mississippi Outdoors TV.
Normally we would do no TV show this week, so I think MPB has preempted the show for a pledge drive or something like that. But if you need your Mississippi Outdoor television fix, you can still get it. We've got all of that stuff on YouTube now. The Mississippi Outdoors TV has its own YouTube channel, so all of that's available. Even Larry Pugh wade fishing, you can go watch that episode if you haven't seen it. It's one of my favorites, really is.
Very good.
So hopefully we'll be back next week. Well, we will be back. This show will be back on next week. Always Thursdays at 5:30, and then Saturdays as well. And so there you go.
One point I think we started before we went to a break that I want to make folks aware of. If you're in the process of trying to do your alligator permit application, 2 things you need to check. Your driver's license, make sure that it has not expired. Check your hunting and fishing license, make sure that it has not expired. If either of those have expired, it's going to give you an error issue when you try to submit your application. I know this has been a problem for a number of our customers already this morning who were trying to get their application in. They called us about problems, and we discovered their driver's license had expired. And that's going to possibly create an even bigger problem because with Department of Public Safety, license offices have been shut down during the COVID-19 situation. You're going to have to call and get a live person on the phone to be able to get those things renewed if it has already expired. I know that if you do the renewal prior to the expiration, it's no problem. You can do it online. So that's going to be a problem. The good news is you got 7 days. So if you can go ahead and get that process started now to get your driver's license renewed so that the electronic system will recognize that in time before the application period closes. So go ahead, get ahead of the game now. Don't wait till the last minute. And that's probably the biggest advice I can give to somebody is don't wait till June 8th to get ready to do your application. Go ahead and start doing it now so that if there are some problems that need to be fixed, we can go ahead and address those and get your problem rectified.
I think we are out of time for Ricky to interrupt people, so it's working out great. He's taking everybody's segment today.
No. Well, I mean, that was good info.
It was good info.
Because folks love to do some gator hunting, and they need to be able to get their permits and license. So he's sharing some good information.
Yeah,
this will be the 16th alligator hunting season.
Really?
Yeah, 16th.
It doesn't seem like it's been that long.
Yeah.
First season was in 2005.
Huh. Wait, so we had our first alligator hunting season in Mississippi, and then Katrina hit a month later.
Exactly. And then just following Katrina came Rita.
Yeah. Oh, I had forgotten
And
about
then-
Rita.
We
There was
hadn't talked
another-
anything about how big like the state record gators.
Yeah, we can go over that.
they have record gators.
What is the record?
I
Do
mean,
you
they're
know?
giant.
14 feet and a half inches.
Wow.
800
big
and, 826 pounds, I think, is the heaviest.
We need to come back with just bow fishing and Ricky Gator stories.
I like it.
Definitely do that.
By the way, that record gator size, that's why I refuse to participate in hand grabbing, Adam. That's what I'd stick my arm in.
That's a
The
good
guy I
thought
was
right
bow
there.
fishing with is the guy who
Yeah.
shot or discovered the first snakehead
Sure.
in Mississippi. And we didn't see one during this escapade.
Wow. Well,
Good to
that's
be back, Dave.
It's good to have you guys back.
to be back.
We enjoyed it. Mississippi Outdoors Radio will return next Monday at 12 noon, and I'll return tomorrow morning at 10 on Super Talk. See you then.